Good evening and welcome to our January Smyrna Town Council meeting. I will call our meeting to order, and tonight our prayer is going to be done by Chaplain Bob Horn from the Smyrna Police Department, and our pledge will be done by Director of Public Works Tom Rose. If you'll all stand with us, please.
Shall we pray? Our Heavenly Father, we're indeed thankful for another day of life that you've granted unto us. We're thankful for the blessings that you bestow upon us in this town and this community. Pray that you continue to look after us and give us the mercy that you allow us to have here, those that live here, those that guide us, those that lead us, protect us. We pray, dear Father, that you continue to give them the wisdom and that they rely upon thy principles, upon thy teachings on all things that they do and the decisions that they make to be able to guide the people that live here. Pray that you continue with us. Forgive us when we fail thee. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Tom. Chaplain? Ms. Amber, if you'll do roll call, please.
Yes, ma'am. Councilwoman Peebles? Here. Councilman Cole?
Yes, ma'am.
Councilman Morrell?
Present.
Councilman Short?
Here.
Councilman Sullivan?
Here.
Vice Mayor Atkins?
Here.
Mayor Reed?
Here. We'll move on to item 3, which is approval or corrections of the minutes of the December 12th, 2023 regular meeting and the December 28th, 2023 work session meeting of the Town Council. Jeff, are these in order?
In order as to form, Mayor.
Okay. Any additions or corrections of the minutes? Seeing none, do I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve. Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Minutes pass. Move on to items 4 and 5. Brian or Amber, any correspondence, communications, awards, or recognitions?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Then we'll move on to item 6, which is our consent agenda. And these are items that are determined by our town manager to be routine matters, but I always like to read these items out for those that are here watching live as well as those that are at home. But if there is an item that a council member would like to pull off and discuss individually, we can do that. So there are quite a few tonight, so just bear with me. Item A is consideration authorization of a list of items to be auctioned through online surplus sale with Gov Deals. Item B, approval of the terms of and authorization for the mayor to execute a contract with the covered patio to install a shade canopy at Volunteer Park. Item C is approval of the terms of and authorization for the mayor to execute Stewart's Creek Basin drone survey phases 1 and 2 proposals. Item D is approval of the terms of and authorization for the mayor to execute the EPA Facilities Plan Report Professional Services Agreement. Item E is approval of the terms of and authorization for the mayor to execute change order number 2 for the North Lowry Waterline Phase 2A. Item F is approval of the terms of and authorization for the mayor to execute an agreement with Pyro Shows relative to the town's annual fireworks show for 2024. Item G is approval of the terms of and authorization for the mayor to execute the scope and fee proposal with Energy Land and Infrastructure for the Cooks Lane Improvement Projects. Item H is approval of the terms of and authorization for the town to execute change order number 2 with Brown Builders for the Tridon Bridge Replacement Project. Item I is approval of the terms of and authorization for the mayor to execute change order number 2 and change order number 3 with Cleary Construction for the Spring Hill Drive Extension Project. Item J is approval of the terms of and authorization for the mayor to execute change order number 5 with Cleary Construction for the Jeannie Lane Extension Project. Item K is approval of the terms of and authorization for the mayor to execute an agreement with Stanzel Electric relative to the construction of the ITS Phase 3, 4, and 5 project. Item L is approval of the terms of and authorization for the mayor to execute an agreement with AM Builders for a metal storage building to be constructed behind Fire Hall 3 on Enon Springs Road near Nissan. Item M is approval of the terms of and authorization for the mayor to execute a contract for financial wellness services for employees. Item N is approval of the terms of approval of a revision to the longevity pay policy in the Town of Smyrna Employee Handbook. Item O is approval of the terms of and authorization for the mayor to execute a contract with Boozer and Company, PC, for real estate appraisal services in connection with the Rocky Fork Amabile Road right-of-way project. And item P is approval of the terms of and authorization for the mayor to execute change order number 1 with TM Partners PLLC relative to the Fire Station number 4 project. Council, is there anything you'd like to pull off and discuss individually? Seeing none, do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved, Mayor.
A motion, do we have a second?
Second.
Motion to second, any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Item 7 is our old business tonight. Tonight, we have 2 public hearings. Our first one is a consideration of an ordinance amending Title IV of the town's municipal code and establishing an updated occupational safety and health program plan. Jeff?
Yes. Mayor and Council, as we discussed previously, this is a complete rewrite of the Occupational Safety and Health Program Plan. This is received from the state as a model ordinance policy, and so we recommend adoption of it.
Questions for Jeff before we go to the public on this? Seeing none, we'll go to the public to see if there's anyone here to speak for or against this item. Seeing no one, we'll close this public hearing, go to council for a motion.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Our second and final public hearing tonight is the consideration of an ordinance amending the municipal code Title II, 704, relative to the Memorial Maintenance and Special Projects Subcommittee to codify powers, duties, and related matters pertaining to the Captain Jeff Kush USMC Memorial Scholarship Program.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. So nice to see all of you. We discussed this as second reading, so you all have heard some of these details before. But this is a great project. It's a privilege really to be involved. The Jeff Kuss USMC, and I'll insert Memorial, and we can talk about that in a minute, scholarship program. We're essentially amending the ordinance to basically authorize the Memorial Projects Subcommittee to be able to make grants in the form of scholarships to eligible individuals, which the goal is, is up to $6,000 a year. But right now we're only devoting the money from the race and private donations that are so designated to the memorial itself, the structure. And so that's the key, really. We're changing the ordinance to be able to authorize the committee to administer a scholarship program for post-secondary education purposes.
Any questions for Jason on this before we go to the public?
I know we talked about this, but I don't remember whether or not it was explained. Is it just for seniors, or will it be anyone who applies, or only seniors that are going on to post-secondary education?
The way the program description is written is that it's for seniors, but thus far the description is, and this is not in the ordinance itself, okay? So really the ordinance is really enabling, right? And so but presently the program description includes the option where if somebody is, for whatever reason, granted a scholarship, they're a senior, but they're unable to take it, perhaps they can ask for a delay. But other than that, yes, it's only for high school seniors,
Okay.
for those who reside in Smyrna, at the town of Smyrna within our jurisdictional limits, or attend high school, which would include private school, public school, homeschool, within the jurisdictional limits of the town.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Other questions? Seeing none, we'll go to the public to see if there's anyone here to speak for or against this item. If you'll come forward and state your name and address for the record, please.
Dan Eppright, 114 Seward Street, Smyrna, Tennessee. Just a little clarification on this. We've had the memorial for a few years, and you have enough data probably to know what your expenses are, and how much it costs to paint the airplane and how much it costs in man-hours from Parks and Rec to do it. So you can pretty much calculate out how much money you can spare for scholarships? I mean, how's that figured, I guess is just my question.
So we're going to be doing $6,000 worth for the scholarships, and we're going to be doing three $2,000.
And we got enough track record behind it to know that we're not going to sit there trying to, well, we have to do the memorial, but we've got to do these scholarships, we don't have enough to go around.
Absolutely.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, seeing no one else, we'll close the public hearing, go to council for a motion.
And if I might, just as a reminder to council, you know, at workshop, I had suggested the possibility of inserting the word memorial into the scholarship program title as a formal matter. Presently, the ordinance amendments as drafted does not designate it as a memorial quote-unquote scholarship. It's simply the Jeff Coos USMC Scholarship Program. However, and that just wasn't caught in the drafting process for a reason. And, you know, I think, you know, Mr. Hercules mentioned it, and a couple others said, hey, we ought to make sure that it's recognized that this is for the purpose of preserving the memory of Captain Coos. And in fact, that exactly meets the Merriam-Webster definition of memorial. So it's serving to preserve the memory of a person or event, and also something that keeps alive the memory. And it sounds like that's exactly what we're hoping to do with this program. So,
Great. So, do I have a motion
So moved.
with the addition of
Memorial.
the word memorial?
That's correct.
Great.
Thank
We
you.
have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. We'll now move on to our new business under our Planning Commission report. First is consideration of an ordinance relative to the annexation and PRD zoning of property located on tax map 54, parcel 18.00, requested by Jared Cunningham with Catalyst Design Group on behalf of the Rose C. Neal Revocable Trust containing 28.42 acres. The property is located on Rocky Fork Amaville Road, and it looks like the applicant has requested an additional 1 month deferral.
That is correct.
Okay, so Jeff, I'm assuming we need to,
Yes, take a formal action if you don't mind.
okay, then do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to defer for 1 month. And I'll second.
The motion and a second, any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Moving on to item 2, which is consideration of an ordinance relative to the rezoning of tax map 27, parcel 36.01, to go from R1 to PRD. It's requested by Kevin Gangaware. The property requested to be rezoned contains 13.03 acres and is located at 9800 Florence Road. Kevin?
Yes, Mayor and Council, this is a rezoning request at 9800 Florence Road. It's near the intersections with Berrywood Drive and Orchard Valley Drive. The land use plan will support low-density residential, which is up to 3 units per acre on the eastern side of Florence Road in this area, and then medium density on the west side of Florence Road, which is up to 5 units per acre. The surrounding zoning is a mix of R1 in town and RM in Rutherford County. This property currently has 1 residence on it and is surrounded by property owned by the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. This proposed PRD is for 54 single-family lots for a density of 4.14 units per acre. The houses would range from 1,800 to 3,000 square feet, would be a mix of brick, stone, and concrete siding. All requirements of the town with regard to open space and setbacks would be met. 1 access point is proposed to Florence Road. Sewer is not currently available at this property, so the developer is proposing to extend sewer approximately 1,250 feet from the existing sewer line within the right-of-way of Valley View Drive down Berrywood Drive to the property. The Planning Commission did recommend approval, 6-4-0 against, with 3 conditions. 1, any elevation fronting a road will be considered the primary facade and must meet the elevation requirements shown for the front of the home, and if a lot has more than 1 road frontage or is visible from Florence Road, this requirement would be applicable to all elevations facing the public roadway. Critical lots as defined in the subdivision regulations would be identified at the preliminary plat stage, and TVA approval must be approved or must be provided for the pond and sidewalk within their easement, which would be required prior to receiving a grading permit. And with those conditions, staff would recommend approval.
Mark or Tim, anything you want to add?
I think previously we had some speculation that that might be requested to be a townhome subdivision, but that met with some resistance, I believe, and so this is all considered single-family residential and a minimum of 1,800 square feet homes. So kind of is consistent with the surrounding properties there in the area, even though Lake Farm was a county-developed subdivision across the road. It's all on septic over there, and this developer is going to run sewer to this property, from what we understood.
Anything else?
We did talk with the developer about the homes themselves, and so, masonry exteriors, upgraded interiors, an amenity in the center of the development. And pretty much what Mark said, it's consistent from a elevation standpoint and maybe somewhat even upgraded than surrounding.
Other comments or questions?
Just a question about the sewer. We're picking it up at Valley View Drive, is that right?
That's correct.
Has it already been run into Lake Farm subdivision?
That's the main that actually comes from Bentry through Lake Farm and over to Nissan. So it's a fairly large main. They would be tying onto that one.
Okay. And that's at their cost, correct?
Yes.
So when they tie into that, will they go in through the public easement that already exists, or how will they tie in?
It hasn't been designed yet, but I think the plan is to be within that public right-of-way, yes.
Okay.
Existing right-of-way that's already there.
Okay. And I know also, Mark, one of the things you all talked about at the meeting was the density issue, but you seem to get comfortable with that. Is that correct?
It's pretty consistent with all the developments that we're seeing coming into town, probably leaving a little bit larger lot-wise. I was comfortable with it. The questions we asked too, I know you probably watched it, was the fire department okay with it? Was turn lanes considered or necessary? And staff felt like with 52 lots, that was not a need. And fire department gave their blessings on it just because it's such a small development. They have the loop and the turnaround. So we asked all those questions.
And I know you said that you asked if a traffic study was going to be done and that it wasn't a need for that. Right,
That's correct.
Kevin?
Our ordinance wouldn't require one. This number of lots wouldn't meet the threshold of what one would be required. So,
And can you speak a little bit on the fact that you didn't think there was necessary to have not necessarily a turning lane, but like a divide, I don't know what you call it. Yes, a merge lane.
yeah, we did not, as staff, we didn't feel like it was necessary. They are dedicating the right-of-way. If the town ever needs to improve Florence Road, that portion of the right-of-way would be there. But we did not feel like it was necessary to have any type of turn lanes or merge lanes into this development. No.
Because I know a lot of the subdivision behind it, like off of Old Florence, a lot of people come through there to avoid going down Jefferson. So there's probably a little bit more traffic than it looks like.
And potentially, and that may be something we want to, we could certainly get with Mr. King and he and I could talk about through that, and maybe, do we want to look at that again? Again, our ordinance, there would not be enough traffic generated by this development to kick in the requirement under our ordinance for a traffic study, but we could certainly still, if you want us to look at that, we can certainly look at that again.
Okay, and I know this is just a rezoning meeting, but it was something that I had a concern with, so I wanted to bring it up now, so. And then the density, again, with there just being, it's 54 lots, but there's only one entranceway in and out, and you were comfortable with that?
Right. The fire code requires if it gets over 100, they want a separate entrance. There's really, because there's no other way to stub property or stub a road into any adjoining property because there's no other developable property over there, having two entranceways with a TVA easement and other things in there, it's kind of difficult. It's kind of an odd piece of property, and so we felt we're okay with the one entrance at this density. I think if you had a townhome request or something with 120 townhomes, I think we would probably feel a little differently, but with 54 lots, we feel comfortable with it.
And you said that this, from the planning meeting, this property would fit more in a R4 rather than an R3 because the lot sizes are smaller, 6,000 and 10,000?
Correct.
Do we have it? We don't have very many R4.
Most of the R4 developments that have occurred, we haven't had anything much recently. Most of them were built, because you're also allowed to do zero lot line duplex type units.
Right.
And most of those developments developed in that manner. R4 does allow for single family, and we do have a little bit of that, but not much in the R4 district, in that 6, 7, 8,000 square foot lots sizes. That's,
Okay.
yeah, this type of lot size, that's where it would fall.
Okay.
Other questions or comments? Seeing none, do we have a motion?
I move we approve.
Motion, do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Nay.
Motion passes with one against. Item B is consideration of an ordinance amending Title 12 of the Municipal Code, specifically 602 relative to the International Residential Code and 702 relative to the International Energy Conservation Code.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I assisted our building official and as well as Todd Spearman in drafting these amendments. And I will simply relay that these are substantively the area of codes. And so having to do with matters that I'm not substantively familiar with, I can tell you what the words are. But we were required to do this by the state, is what I can tell you, pursuant to an audit that they conducted, and we were randomly selected for that. So it's my understanding that from time to time this thing occurs, and that maybe we haven't had it for several years. Having to do with duct testing, duct leakage, and various things of a technical nature. So we have these in front of you for approval.
So do you want us to ask you technical questions at this point?
I would happily defer to Ms. Christie or to Mr. Todd Spearman, who has over time developed a working knowledge in codes, as I understand it. So,
Does anybody have any questions for Jason or Christie? Then do I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
A motion, do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second, any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. We'll move on to item C, which is consideration of a resolution requesting the Rutherford State Delegation to introduce legislation. Jeff?
Yes, Mayor and Council, as we do with any legislation that the council is asking our delegation to either support or introduce, specifically with a private act change, but also we have done it with other legislation at the Tennessee General Assembly. This is doesn't force anyone to do anything. This is a request from the Rutherford delegation for the amendments to Article 9 that you passed, I believe, in November.
Questions for Jeff on this?
So this is, as we discussed in the workshop, this is being done in preparation. It's not, it's been being done in preparation of the referendum that will be held in March.
Correct, because as operation of law, per our private charter, which is legislation, as you know, obviously one of those milestones is it would have to pass a referendum for that private act to be ultimately approved as legislation by the state. So this is beginning of the session, and so that everyone is aware of it, and this is what we're asking them to carry.
Okay.
Other questions? Seeing none, do we have a motion?
So moved.
A motion, do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second, any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Nay.
Motion passes with one no. We'll move on to item 9, which is other. Anything under other tonight?
Oh, ma'am.
Moving on to item 10, which is our status reports. Rex, how are you?
Doing good, Mayor. How are you?
Great.
We'd like to let you know that our audit report will be completed by the end of January, and then we will post it to the website. Our audit firm had some untimely staff turnover.
they weren't able to complete it by the end of December, so we're shooting for January. November state shared tax, we received $700,782. The receipts are leveling off, and we will keep monitoring this. On the November local sales tax, we received $1,662,363, which keeps us over budget for the year to date amount. So we're doing well on our revenues.
Questions for Rex on any of the numbers?
Still waiting for December to come in, correct? Still waiting for December's numbers to.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they should.
That'll help.
They should help quite a bit, yeah.
I think there's one observation that Rex has made, though, and we've been watching this, and there's been a lot of conversation from the state about this on the state shared tax. We are beginning to see some leveling on that portion, and we just need to keep an eye on that as we go forward. You know, we're entering into budget season, and, you know, there's a lot of talk about the status of the economy. I think the sales tax portion proves that, you know, Smyrna as a whole, we're doing very well as far as people shopping local and spending money, but across the state, we're beginning to see some slowdown, and that's something that we need to continue to monitor and make sure that we're making adjustments for those possible leveling or shortfall in those revenue streams, so.
Do we have any idea why the shared tax is falling off?
I just think it's indicative, and Rex, please share this. What I'm hearing and understanding is you look across the state, you've got communities like Smyrna that are doing very well, but you've got other places that are slowing down and seeing some slowdown. And, you know, that's been some of the prediction for the recessions and the slowdowns out there. I don't want to be a bearer of, you know, tragedy news, but I think we have to pay attention to it. I would point out one other thing, and you know, Tennessee Municipal League for the last couple of years has been working very diligently. If you guys will remember, there was a change made on the state share tax as far as the way the equation was, as far as the dollars we receive, not just in Smyrna, but all the municipalities and all the counties. And there's been a real push to move that math back to us getting full funded. That has not been successful, but I'm sure it's going to be another thing that's going to be hitting the legislature this year because of this. There's going to be some communities that are going to be in worse shape than us, needing that revenue stream to get back into their budgets. So just something to think about.
Specifically speaking, the gasoline taxes are a little bit lower than what they were at the same time last year. And the state sales taxes are really close to being exactly the same as they were last year. No alarm, just we'll keep monitoring it.
Any questions for Rex or Brian on this? Thank you.
Thank you.
Announcements, anything?
Ma'am.
Department heads or directors, anything? Amber?
No, ma'am.
Fine.
And Council, I have a couple of things I'd like to share with the group tonight. Today is a very special day. It is the National Law Enforcement Appreciation Day, and we want to make sure that, I know there's been a lot going on social media and a lot of posts about this, but, you know, today is a day for us to show appreciation to our law enforcement. And the town of Smyrna is grateful to have our police department. We'd like to recognize the Smyrna Police Department and thank them for all the continuing serve and protect responsibilities they have in our community. And thank you all for what you do, Chief, and your full staff. Next Monday, we will be observing the Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Town Hall, again, will be closed on Monday, January 15th, in observance of this day, national holiday. Normal business hours will resume on Tuesday. I do like to point out, though, as we go into this, our police, fire, wastewater plant, water plant, parks, and the golf course will be open, and there will be people working on that holiday, providing quality of life services to our community. So just want to make everybody aware of that, but Town Hall and most of our offices will be closed during that holiday. Next, want to just, something that's, again, we've had out on social media, but our Smyrna Golf Course
due to some planned Smyrna Airport runway construction, and it's kind of funny to say it's runway because it's actually not asphalt, it's the grass area, and they're moving the fence back based on some FAA requirements, but it does impede into our par 3 course. That course will be closed down for the next 5 to 7 weeks. We will hope to reopen it as soon as we can, by March the 1st, we hope. That's giving them some time to get the work done, but also to get, we've got a couple of tee boxes and we've got a cart path that's got to be relocated. We've got some irrigation stuff that'll be impeded by this as well. So Hal's done a great job of coordinating with John Black, and they've been a good partner with us to keep us in the loop and up to date on what's happening. But for the next 5 to 7 weeks, the executive course, the par 3 course, will be closed. Just want to make everybody aware of that. Before I go into my next slide, which is the one that I always finish with the love where you live, I felt like I needed to make an announcement tonight that affects our roads and stuff. The mayor and I had a really good meeting with TDOT. I know there's a lot of questions about roads, especially our interchanges and some of those kind of things. There's some things going on with TDOT with what they're going to do as far as the choice lanes and those kind of things that are going to play into some things that are going to be done with the interchanges and stuff. So I've been working since that meeting with TDOT, and they will be here. I want to make this announcement so people can be here or make sure to tune in. But our February 29th workshop, we'll begin that workshop with probably a 30 to 40 minute presentation from TDOT, so you guys can adjust your calendars accordingly. But what I've asked them to focus on is I-24, what work's being done out there, how it affects the town of Smyrna, the ITS program, and some other things. The other program that I asked them to take a look at for us, there's been a lot of conversation with Jefferson Pike at Lowry Street. That's a pretty intense program from the standpoint of not just that one intersection where we know there have been some very horrific accidents, some as early as last year with some young children that were involved in that. It also incorporates fixing the ramps at the Sam Ridley interchanges. We have some conflicting traffic movements at those crossovers, as most of you know. So it's a pretty intense look. I've asked them to cover those pieces of information for the community and for you as a council. So I look forward to, on the 29th, again, the workshop at 5 p.m. If you can be available to be here, we welcome you. But please make sure you tune in so TDOT can bring us all up to speed and get the right information in everybody's hands.
Brian, can we put that on social media for people to tune in as well? I mean, would that be a good idea?
If you're tuning in on, yeah, you'll be able to see it live on social media through YouTube and I think our Facebook page. So I just want to make people aware of the date and the time. It's 29th at 5 o'clock.
And you're gonna put that up too?
Yes, ma'am.
Like a
Yeah, we'll put
PSA?
something out there. Yes, ma'am. We'll
Okay.
put something out there. I just today got guaranteed everybody
That they
we
will be
need
here.
from TDOT to be here will be here. And I just wanted to bring that to attention of the public so that they do have a chance to hear that information. Last thing I have tonight is Love Where You Live. Again, we continue to fight the battle of trash. I've had a couple of emails this past week. We've got a good friend out at Seven Oaks, Tony Proctor. He continues to be a champion. We've got another gentleman that does some cleanup out on Florence Road and Jefferson Pike, and I got tickled this past week. I got to the end of my subdivision and there was 6 bags of trash there. I think he put them there because he knew I would take care of getting them moved from there to someplace else, but I appreciate him doing that. We actually have a young lady, I think, that has joined the army of litter control at Seven Oaks, and she's taken a couple of streets within the subdivision. Tony focuses on that back road. We just need more people being that conscientious about the litter. I had a lady that emailed me and said she'd just come home from the holidays from North Carolina, and she was appalled that when she crossed over into Tennessee, and then she pointed out that when she got home to Smyrna that there was a lot of litter in our areas, and I told her I understand that, and we're working very diligently to help people understand. Take that trash, don't throw it out on the road. Take it to the receptacles at the service station or your home, those kind of things. And I know people get tired of hearing me every week, but we've listened to, my good friend HG talk about shop, local, And it's paid off. So I'm gonna continue to preach this in hopes that it'll pay off the same way. So love where you live, folks. Take your litter to the receptacles, and that's all I have tonight, Mayor and Council.
Great. Jeff?
Mayor and Council, I will take this opportunity. I notified you earlier, but just want to officially thank Jason King. Is going to be taking advantage of a new opportunity. Good for him, bad for us. He's done a phenomenal job, and I appreciate all that Jason has contributed to, and we'll miss having him around, but I know that he's looking forward to this new opportunity.
Great.
Should we do a memorial?
Well,
We were almost at that point because I think Jeff was ready to kill him.
Anything else?
no, we will not name a fund after him at this point.
Gotcha. Raquel?
Congratulations, Jason, on your new opportunity. Thank you for all the work that you've done for the town. You've been a tremendous asset, so thank you. And we also have one other retirement that I know of. Ken Reeves from the police department retired this past week. So congratulations on your new journey, Officer Reeves. And happy Law Enforcement Appreciation Day to all of you officers, and thank you for all that you do for our town. Also wanted to continue to wish Chief Bill a speedy recovery, and I hope that you're getting better every day. And thank you, Brian, for putting this workshop or overview together with TDOT. I think that's very important and will provide us a lot of valuable information, so thank you for that. And Martin Luther King Jr. holiday, as you said, is next Monday. And I'd just like to encourage everyone who may have that day off to use it as a day of service, to go and help someone else, because I think that's what he was about, is uplifting everyone and serving the people and the community. So I encourage you all to do something that will lift up others around you. And that's all I have, Mayor.
Great. HG?
Gosh, we see that the Shop Local is working. I hope that Be Kind is working also. We never know about that. But also, Jason, it's good to have you around. Everybody stay warm on Martin Luther King Day next week. It looks like it's really going to be cold, so drive safe or stay home. Tim?
Well, thank you, HG. Jason, thanks for the work that you've done while you're here. Very much appreciate it. Chief, if anyone ever has any doubts, I'm going to say right now, back the blue. I always will. I appreciate what our law enforcement does, and Appreciation Day. One day is not enough, but thanks for all that you do and all the officers do for the town of Smyrna. Thanks.
Jerry?
Okay, I also want to wish everyone a happy Martin Luther King Day, and just hope you enjoy it, and echo what Raquel said. Just use that time to help someone. Jason, thank you again. I know everybody said that, but we'll miss you, and appreciate all you've done, and wish you the best. And I know don't need to, because you'll do great. But thank you. Let's see, Chief, as the rest of them have said, thank you for you and your officers and all that they've done, not just now, but over the years that we've lived here. We've just always been fortunate to have a fantastic police force and fire department as well. So we're blessed. But thank you for what you do, and thank you guys for what they do. And it does not go unnoticed, and we do appreciate it. And thank you on every day, not just today. Okay. And then last, I just want to say happy birthday. I've got my son Tyler, who has a birthday coming up next on Monday as well. So I want to wish Tyler a happy birthday. That's all I've got to.
Just a couple things. Congratulations, Ken, on your retirement. I'm jealous.
I wish I could retire right now as well.
You can.
I can, I just can't live. So that would be the problem. And happy Law Enforcement's Day. There was a couple of jokes passed around about the box of donuts that are in the executive suite right now. I'm going to go on record, the chief did not eat any of the donuts.
While we were back there.
No, well, he may have slipped back there, I don't know. But thank you guys for everything you do. You keep us safe and help us sleep at night, so appreciate that. And Jason, I came by, saw you before the meeting, so we've already spoken. So I'm still mad at you, so it's all good. That's all.
Jason, I'll just tag on to that. Spoke to you this evening when we came in the door, let you know how much we appreciate the work you've done for the town of Smyrna and for us. Doesn't go unnoticed, and I think it was a meeting or two ago, not knowing he was going anywhere, that I took the time to thank the people back there in the law department for the work that they do. That included you. So, hate to see you go.
We rescind that now, though.
Yeah, I'm taking all that back. But thank you for everything you've done, and best wishes for what lies ahead for you. Law enforcement, I had the opportunity as well to go down and wish Big Kenneth Reeves a happy retirement after 32 years. And one thing I notice anytime I go down to the police department, which is not often enough, but when I do, I see a family of people down there. They all gather around, they pat each other on the back. There's a lot of support for one another. And I think they need to continue to know that this body, this council appreciates what they do, not just on a Law Enforcement Appreciation Day, but all the time. I think they're mentioned in about every opening prayer that we do here, our employees and our police and fire departments. And that means a lot to us to have the service of those people who put on the uniform and go do what the task is that day, not knowing if they're going to even come home sometimes. They don't know that. You've got a husband that you deal with like that all the time. So it was a pleasure to see even former Chief Kevin Arnold pop in and give his best wishes to some of the guys. So thank you, Chief, and thank you for your whole department down there for what they do and what they mean to the town. Chief Bill, best wishes. I dropped him a little message this week. I'm assuming he's doing well. I didn't hear back from him, but I didn't tell him to call me back. And so
I talked to him today. He is still at home doing rehab. He's got a couple of opportunities with some other doctors he's visiting with in Nashville, so he's on the mend.
good.
He's chomping at the bit to get back to work, I will tell you that.
I'm sure he is. You can't keep a good man down, and that's one right there. So, a couple prayer requests. The people in Florida last night took a major brunt hit down there in the PCB area. I've got friends down there. Jerry's got a property down there, and some of you others may that I don't know about, but a lot of damage down there. And I don't think any lives were taken that I heard of, but we often deal with tornadoes in Tennessee, and we're kind of used to it. But I think down there on the ocean, on the coast, not so much. And so they're more dealing with hurricanes and things of that nature. So just wanted to give our best wishes and prayers to the people I know down there and all the citizens down there. And lastly, Dan, you'll appreciate this. Your neighbor, Melissa, is dealing with some cancer issues and is dealing with some major surgeries. And so Melissa Taylor works with me at my office, at the Parks Realty office, and she's just one of the nicest, sweetest people, her and JT both, and they complain about their neighbor a lot. I'm just kidding. But I just want to wish her recovery and prayers and thoughts as Melissa continues to deal with some cancer issues she's been dealing with for a while. So I just want to let the public know. A lot of people know Melissa. She goes to the same church I do, and so prayers for you, Melissa, if you're paying attention, and JT, and if y'all need anything, here's one guy that's here for you. That's all I have.
Great. First of all, I'd like to wish everyone a happy new year. I hope you all have a prosperous new year, but we do have a couple of housekeeping items. The Christmas tree drop-off is open. You can drop off live trees at Lee Victory Recreation Park until January 14th. The drop-off will be near the football field parking lot, but remember to remove all the decorations and tinsels before you drop off, please. This week, Brian and I were able to go out to Consumer Product Partners. It'll take me a little while to remember that, but used to be Vijon. and enjoyed a presentation and a tour of the Smyrna plant. Consumer Product Partners recently transitioned into an employee-owned company, so it was nice to hear a little bit about that. And Senator Blackburn was there to tour the facility as well. So lots of good things happening out there at Consumer Product Partners. The ice skating rink at the Smyrna Outdoor Adventure Center experienced a successful inaugural season. We served almost 1,500 guests this season between December 2nd and January 7th. So thank you for everyone who came out and supported the rink this season. We look forward to opening it again in November, and have had some questions. I don't know if just inaccurate information is getting put out there or if people just didn't understand. Brian, will you talk a little bit about our ice skating rink, that it's owned by the town, not rented, that sort of thing?
Yeah, that was one of the things we, over the years, we've been looking at the opportunity to bring ice skating as part of our park service. There are some places where you can rent skating rinks. Most of them are associated with real ice. And, excuse me, one of the things that was a big concern was just the cost effectiveness of the refrigeration system and stuff. I've got a friend that some of you may have used the ice rink at the Fountains of Gateway in Murfreesboro, and he has shared with me what some of the bills are, and it was really something that, talking to the council and talking to Mike Moss, it was something we didn't really want to take on. So we were fortunate to find this. It's a synthetic ice, and actually we were able to purchase this. So this rink belongs to the town. It's an all-inclusive purchase, not only the surface and the walls, the fencing, but also the skates that we make available. And it has a 15 to 18-year lifespan, as long as we take good care of it, which there's no doubt Mike and his crew will take care of down at the Parks and Recs Department. So when you look at that on a cost basis, this is probably the most extreme affordability that you can have to provide ice skating to the community. So, but it does belong to us. It's not rented. It's ours, and it's an investment of a 15 to 18-year product for us. So.
Great, thanks. We were happy to see Smyrna highlighted again and ranked third as one of the 7 safest and cheapest cities to live in Tennessee, according to GoBankingRates.com. And if you'd like to read more about that, you can do that on our social media sites. Brian and I were both happy to participate in Leadership Rutherford's Mayor's Panel discussion recently. Brian was our moderator, and each one of the mayors from Rutherford County was there. Shane McFarland is beside me, who is the mayor of Murfreesboro. Joe Carr is our county mayor. Jason Cole is Laverne's mayor, and Chad Lehman is Eagleville's mayor. And I'll tell you, we all enjoy getting to be together and speaking to those individuals that are in leadership, Rutherford. And I just want to say thank you for allowing us to come out and talk to that group. A couple of things. I also want to say thanks, Chief, for you and your department. For what you all do on a daily basis for each one of us. You brought up that Britt is with the Sheriff's Department, has been there almost 30 years, and I'll be honest, it's probably good that the average citizen doesn't hear the calls that come in every night of things that are taking place. Some of it's really tough to deal with, and it's tough for those officers that are out on the street every day, and the majority of us are very lucky in the lives that we live. So thank you to each one of you for all that you do, and also to their families, because it's tough. It's tough sometimes knowing the things that they're out doing. Jeff Craig, happy birthday. When I saw you, I remembered I forgot to do birthday calls today, so I'm sorry, but I hope you've had a great day. And past birthday wishes to Kevin Rigsby. So
Like way past or yesterday?
Yesterday. Yesterday.
So I
got his. I did get his, because we had a long discussion about getting off the couch, getting off the couch and aching and pains and how getting old is not for sissies. Jason King, thank you for all that you've done for the town of Smyrna. We appreciate you. It's always sad to see individuals go, but knowing that you're choosing to go on to something hopefully bigger and better is something that we're proud of, but know that you'll always be a part of this town of Smyrna family, so. Council, is there anything else? If there's nothing else, then we're adjourned.
Yeah.